everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a voice coach and visual artist from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my weekly vlog series, Find Your Voice. So this is where I share whatever it is that I'm learning in my journey as a singer, as an everyday singer, as a voice coach, as a singing instructor, as someone who is all about expressing myself authentically and in the most truest way possible, and also about discovering who I really am and what is it that really matters to me, such that I can create a worthy and meaningful purpose for myself in the way I live my life. And I believe that ultimately this journey that we're on is all about finding your capital V voice, which is really whatever it is that you truly want to express over the course of your life. Like in the way you live your life, what is that thing that you are hoping to express in everything that you do? And there is something, okay? You may not be aware of it right now, and it will probably take you a whole lifetime to understand exactly what this whole journey has been about. But the process of expressing ourselves really begins with expressing ourselves through the most direct means of expression that we have, which is our voice, and that is something that we are naturally born with. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through the links that are in the write-ups attached to these videos, and I will do my best to answer them either by responding to your comments or by creating a new video to share whatever it is that I know about that topic and around that question. Okay, so what I want to share about today is how it is really important to prioritize your voice practice. So if you have decided that you want to take on voice coaching lessons or singing lessons, and you are working with a coach now, first of all, consistent practice is key for you to improve in basically anything. Okay, and that includes your voice too. So when you're working with a voice coach or a singing coach and they give you some voice exercises and you do them, you would sometimes see an instantaneous change in your voice. Well, most of the time, if you're doing it right, you will see an immediate change in your voice. However, when we go back into our day-to-day lives, if we don't practice that consistently, it's very easy to lose that, like really, really easy. And this is because the way you have been speaking, the way your voice is something that is more or less kind of permanent. It's not really permanent, but we are very fixated in our ways, right? And the older we get, the more fixated we become. And it's the same thing with our voice. So you have been speaking that way pretty much your whole life. And in order to change that, it's not as easy as just doing like one voice exercise and then you hear a difference and then you think that, oh, okay, that's it, I don't have to do anything more. Like, that's not how it works, okay? You have to consistently practice, and you practice that exercise, practice other exercises that you learn along the way when you're working with your coach. And only then, over a lot of time, and it is not definable because again it depends on how your voice is, so I can't tell you that after 1 year you can stop doing those practices. That's not how it works, right? But it's basically a consistent practice that we need to do if you want to see a change in your voice over time. Part of it is you have to do the practice such that you can change the way your voice is, and it's kind of like building a habit. You need to consistently work on that habit in order for it to become a habit. So it's the same thing with your voice. You need to work on it consistently in order for the change that you hear in your sessions with your voice coach after you do the exercises. You need to do it consistently such that the change becomes more permanent. And then after that change becomes more or less permanent, then there's the part where you have to do the exercises still as a way of maintaining that change, because otherwise it's very easy to go back to how your voice has been for the last, I don't know how many years. And it's the same thing, in anything that we want to do. The moment we stop learning, the moment we stop practicing, the moment we stop maintaining whatever it is that we have learned, we will kind of lose it, because there's this thing in the world called entropy, and basically it just means that things are always in a state of decline. So if we don't maintain the structures that we have created for ourselves, if we don't maintain our habits, if we don't maintain the new skills that we have learned, you're gonna lose it. Basically, if you don't use it, you will lose it, right? Like there's that saying. Yeah. So anyway, for the point of today's video is that in order to maintain a consistent practice for your voice, you want to make sure that you prioritize your voice practice. And prioritizing it means that you have to ensure that you do it no matter what. And this is something that is difficult for most of us, because when it comes to something that we do just for ourselves and there's no like external motivating factor involved, so like for instance, you're working on your voice, and let's say it's because you have a concert or a singing exam, or you are preparing for like Valentine's Day and you want to surprise your partner with a love song. When you don't have these kinds of external deadlines, it's very difficult to prioritize whatever it is that you need to do. If let's say your dream is to become a singer, or if let's say your dream is to be able to speak confidently in front of an audience and be able to project your voice and to sound assertive and commanding, or if let's say your objective is to become a leader in the workplace, so that when you give command, people would actually respect you and follow your command and be willing to work with you. These are kind of goals that is not easy to have a tangible deadline sometimes. Although I would recommend setting some sort of deadline for yourself such that you can keep track of your own progress. But yeah, when there's no external motivating factor, like an upcoming concert, upcoming event, then it becomes more difficult to prioritize your voice practice. And then at the same time also, we have all these other commitments, right? And when you agree to like do something for your friend, or when you have like family obligations, when you have like work, your day job, obviously you're not gonna like deprioritize that. It becomes very easy to prioritize all these other things that have like an external factor, versus something that you're just doing for yourself. And so this is where prioritizing your voice practice becomes even more important. And not just your voice practice, but anything that you are doing towards the direction of your dream, towards the direction of something you're passionate about, something that matters to you, but maybe you're not like earning a living from it, and therefore we think it's not as important. Like, no, okay, whatever that thing is, it is still equally important, just like any of your other commitments. And we have to train ourselves to be able to see it that way, that in that moment where you are doing that thing that matters to you, nothing else matters. And in your day-to-day life, you have to schedule that thing that really matters to you. So when it comes to whatever that thing is, and in this case your voice practice, you're doing your singing exercises, I recommend that you do them as early as you can in the day, where possible. You don't have to do them every single day, but as a guideline, I would say like do it like 5 days a week. Because it's almost like, you go to your day job 5 days a week, right? Well, for most of us. So, a 5-day work week, then kind of follow that. And this is important because if you are working towards a goal, right? You're not just taking singing lessons for the fun of it, but you have a goal that you want to work towards in the long run. Then, it is work, okay? Like, it is equally as important as your day job. It's equally as important as your other commitments and the other things that you do. So I would recommend 5 days a week you do your singing practice, and do it on the same days that you have your day job, where possible, of course. I mean, if you have to work overtime, then, substitute it for another day. But I would say like as early as you can in the day, get your voice practice done. So if that means having to wake up like 30 minutes earlier just to go find a place where you can sing and not be disturbed and not disturb anyone because it might be really early in the morning, then do that. Like if you have to practice singing in your car so that you don't disturb people in your household, then go and do that. And if it's not possible, if you don't have a space to practice early in the morning, then do it in the earliest possible time that you can. So like, maybe straight after you come home from work, get it done. Like I know you might be tired, I know you might be feeling like, oh, I want to watch my TV shows and just like unwind or something. And maybe you do need a little bit of that in order to unwind. But if you know you're someone who would probably end up binge watching, then do your voice practice first. Like maybe after coming home from work, take a shower to refresh yourself, and then get your voice practice done before you have dinner or something. Yeah, just like just prioritize it. And it doesn't even need to be a lot of time, honestly. Like if you're an everyday singer, you're not planning to become like a professional singer, like you just want to improve your voice so you can be a better speaker, be a better leader, then 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, it really doesn't take a lot of time. And doing just 5-10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, is way more effective than trying to cram like half an hour over like one afternoon. Yeah, and then going for your voice lessons and be like, how come it's not really improving? Like seriously, okay, like 5-10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Schedule that as early as you can in the day once you wake up, or immediately after your day job, or even during your lunch break or something. As soon as you have a place to do it and an opportune time to do it, just get it done and make sure you prioritize it, because even though there's no external deadline or external factor that's holding you accountable, this is still something that is important to you, and you want to make sure that you work on it such that you see the results that you want. Otherwise, whatever effort that you have already put in from the beginning would all just go to waste. So if you have enjoyed today's video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any one of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos, and I will see you next week.